So what you're going to need to make your pencil blank is, first of all, gloves. Very important when using super glue. Second thing, obviously, pencils. I use hexagonal pencils. These are just cheap pencils that I picked up from the local cheap store. They're quite bendy. Some of the leads aren't even in the center of the pencil. But it doesn't matter because it all adds character to the final piece when you make it. Super glue. I just use cheap super glue. I've never had a problem with any of my pencil projects coming apart. This is just baking paper. The cleaner you can keep your surfaces, the better. So I just line it with a bit of wax paper. That way, if the pencils stick to it, you can just rip it off and it'll turn away anyway when you start working with the blank. And I just stick it down with a bit of double-sided tape. You have to cut off the pointed end of the pencils. Now I just put them together and just run them off on the bandsaw as square as you can, because you're going to be buttoning these up. You'll be buttoning these up together. And what I do is, as I build these pencils, I kind of construct them in a way that you would a brick wall, overlapping joints to get the strength. Because if you can imagine that as a cross section of your blank, as you're turning in here, do you know, it could get weak if all your pencils were joined like this. So in other words, if you made two blanks and then just squared off the edges and stuck them together like that, like you would maybe two pieces of wood, this is going to be a real weak spot just here when you go turning, and it's likely to fly off and disintegrate. In fact, I know that for a fact. It will fly off and disintegrate. Some super glue. Okay, and I just run down halfway, roughly halfway, it doesn't have to be exactly halfway, along the edge of there, just like that. And then we get our first pencil and we'll stick that roughly, it's roughly about half. Hold it together and put it flat on the table so that we can get it as flat as we can. I'm not going to lie, you're going to need a lot of patience to do this project. Yeah, so I'm just going to carry on here and you guys can watch this. I'll speed up the process. That's your main core there now in the center. That's what you're going to work from. You're going to be adding this one in here, and then your next row, when you go putting it on, you're going to overlap that again until you get to the thickness you want, or until, in my case, until I run out of pencils. And then once I get to the thickness that I want, I'm going to leave it for a while, probably a day or two, to completely harden up. You can see that because the pencils are bowed, where I've been holding them together, they haven't quite gone together there. See that? You can close that gap up. Okay, so what you want to do is, each layer that you do, you want to keep going back and checking and making sure that your pencils are going together, because that gap there If you fill that up then and keep going round and round and round, and you build up around this blank, that's going to be a weak spot. And when you go down deep, or you're cleaning out the end, hollowing the end for a goblet or something, then that's going to explode. Fill that with glue. Run a load of glue inside that, okay? And then we're going to get the G-clamp and we're just going to squeeze that up until that gap closes up. We're going to leave it there for a couple of minutes and then we're going to take it off, and that will be held again then. And then you can start building on it again.
Let's woodturn together right from the start. Color our world one blank at a time. Join the fun, let your colors shine.
That's how you make a colour pencil blank. It's strong, very strong, and it's pretty heavy. It's surprisingly heavy. What I would suggest is that once you've got your final blank like this, is if you get super glue and run super glue all the way down all the joints, and keep filling it and keep filling it, and then let it set and dry, because it'll get round all the little gaps that have been left. This is pretty solid as it is because of the way we constructed it.